recording.
Sound test, sound test, sound testing. Ooh. Is this working? Wait. I can't hear or see anything right now. Give me a second here. Alrighty. Hello. I think we're here, no? We are here. Yes, I think the Zoom call is working. I think YouTube is working too. And I see a lot of beautiful familiar faces. How's everyone doing? Arasto, Andres, good to see you. Nicolas, welcome. How are you doing? Everyone, this is just a friendly reminder. This is being live streamed right now to YouTube. So if you are watching this from YouTube and you want to join us on the Zoom call, you are welcome to come to the Discord channel, to the Discord server, and we have the link posted here on Discord. How is everyone doing?
Oh, amazing. Yes.
You're calling in from Japan still, right?
Yes, I am.
Beautiful. Meraz, are you? I got Meraz on the call on YouTube. It's Meraz. I think it's not freezing for us. I think this is going well. Can you join the call? Technology. It never ceases to fail. Andres, and you're calling in from Mexico?
No, I am in Medellin, Colombia, near the city, outside the city.
Are you back home now?
Yeah, just for holidays, to visit my family.
Beautiful, that's awesome. And where are you calling in from, Nicolas?
Moment, I'm in the Dolomites in Italy. I should be in Rotterdam, but I broke my collarbone here, so I'm staying here for a month or two.
Oh my, you gotta be fucking, sorry, you gotta be kidding me. I'm going to the Dolomites in January.
Oh, nice. Let me know if you need tips on where to go.
Yeah, if COVID doesn't mess things up, I will be there with my partner and we're gonna go skiing. We have no idea. We hear it's a fantastic place. How did you break your collarbone?
Bike accident, really lame fall, but that's how it always goes. But I used to be a big time snowboarder, and this is where I grew up, so I can give you some pointers if you need nice places to go.
I would love to. How can I reach out to you? Are you on Discord?
Yeah, I'm on the Discord. Same name.
All right. Okay. All right. Beautiful. I'll definitely reach out to you. All right. So many of you are familiar to this. This is the annual ParametricCamp community call. What that means is that I like to spend some time also hanging out with the people from the community and people who like the project that we do, the videos and computational design and all those kind of things. But I have absolutely no agenda whatsoever for this meeting. This is more about getting to know each other, have a nerdy chit chat about computational design or whatever you guys want to bring in. I do have the Christmas tree that I can connect to, and we can do some animations or whatever if you want to play with it. But I have no agenda. I want to also welcome Pratham and Kaushik. I see they just turned on their webcams. Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, Professor. We are good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. I really like doing this. Where are you calling in from?
I'm from Bangalore, India.
Oh, I was there a couple of years ago, 3 years ago.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice. I am currently a student of architecture in second year and third semester. So yeah,
All right. All right. And how is that going for you?
great, I guess. Trying to learn whatever I can, new things, that is computational design, and how I can sort of, bring in things together. But there are a lot of things that I get confused at times with. I mean, I'm unable to figure it out. I mean,
You mean technically?
like, yeah, technically.
But trust me, you only need time and practice that you go over that.
Yeah. I mean, and there's one question, if you would like to answer, can I ask it?
Of course. Literally, there's no agenda today.
Oh, okay, cool. So the thing is, since I am in second year of architecture, right? So there's one thing that I'm always wanting to know, that how I can, sort of develop that computational thinking so that I can apply it in design and architecture. So how do I develop that thought process? Is something that I've been trying to figure it out, but I mean, I have not got the answer, I guess. So I thought this would be a great medium to get that answer.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, I can jump in, but I would like to also give the possibility to all the other wonderful people who are in this call, if they may want to jump in.
Sure.
One question. Are you a second year master student or a bachelor student?
I'm a bachelor student.
Oh, I see. I have no idea what to say there. I guess Andres might be able to give us some thought on that. I guess you have much more experience, I guess, than any of us.
So you said me?
Jose and Andres.
Yeah, because Andres, you also teach these things, correct?
Yes, I have been trying to teach computational design to students of second year as well. At the beginning, I started introducing some topics with processing, and little by little, I'm moving with C# and Python. But I didn't really get your question. Sorry, I was.
Did you say the P word, Andres? I heard you say the P word.
I repeat the question.
Please.
So the thing is, since I am in second year of architecture, so I am really curious to know how do I develop that computational way of thinking and apply that in design. So that thought process that is behind all of that we do. So how do I develop that thought process is something that I would like to know.
Well, if I may, so one thing that I can actually tell you is that since you're in the third semester of architecture, it might be a little bit too early to think about that kind of getting everything together at the same time. In other words, I would suggest you first of all explore a lot of things in architecture. One thing really cool about architecture is that it's so vast that you can actually work on anything. For example, whenever you're talking about architectural history, you can think about it in it's not exactly a linear line of one architect did something and the next person did something else. It's more like a graph or something. Everything is connected together, and when you take one strand of it and you would follow that strand, that would lead to something really different from another one. So in particular to computational design, what I would suggest to you, since you're a little bit newer to architecture, is, well, first of all, either read a lot, read the text of maybe Antoine Picon or Mario Carpo. Those are people that have written on this very well, or Kevin Lynch or people like that. That's one thing. Other than that, I would suggest you think about architecture. like all these computational tools as more of a way of you trying to achieve whatever you want to do with your own design. So instead of like thinking about how can I amend my own way of thinking about architecture that would fit the computational design way of thinking, I would say try to find whatever you want to do with architecture itself, and then take a look at whatever you can, whatever tool you can use, be it computational tools, be it programming or whatever, and think about how you can use those tools for your internet and for your own design intentions. I hope that was satisfactory.
Yes.
I want to jump on that. I also agree that if you've only been thinking about architecture and specifically thinking about computation for 2 years, it might be a little early, just because, I mean, I've been doing this for years and I don't think I am anywhere close to the epiphany of knowledge or whatever, but to Arasto's words, there's typically 2 ways to go about design in general. There's like the way of, I have this overarching global idea, what I want to achieve, the high-level goals, etc., and then I find the tools or I find the techniques to make this happen. But there is also, and this is a very common thing that you can also read about. There's a lot of books that discuss how learning tools and learning technology actually bias the way we think a little bit as well. So one of the beauties of computation is that the more you learn the tools, the more you start finding creative opportunities in the tools themselves. And this is something that has happened not just in computation, but in any form of, in any creative medium, like back in the times when sculpture was the highest form of art, right? Like people started working with the chisel and the hammer, but at some point, after so much working with the chisel, they found that if a particular angle with a particular pressure created a particular mark that had an interesting texture to it, and therefore they started exploring that texture or whatever. So new techniques arose just because of the expertise that certain people had with a particular tool. There's like books by Richard Sennett has a book called The Craftsman, which speaks about the relation of people and their tools. There's another book called Digital Craft by Malcolm McCullough, which is a very similar book, but specifically in the context of digital creativity, which speak about this relationship. So I guess what I'm trying to say with this is that it's great to have high-level goals and try to figure out how to implement them with computation. But the more you use computation themselves and the more you learn different tools, etc., the more you will start finding like, oh, with that function that I just learned, maybe I can like mix it with this other thing that I knew and something interesting will happen. And that will lead to perhaps what you're trying to, are like this computational thinking, So try to approach the problem from the both ends, I'm not in general, regardless of like my live stream or whatever, I'm not in general a person who preaches fascination for tools. I think tools have expiration dates. Grasshopper is great these days, but in 5 years, 10 years, there'll be another thing that will be fancy and cool. I just learned Houdini recently, and I'm actually kind of excited about it, for example. So, but the ideas are there. And there's a lot of ideas in computation that are super interesting. Recursion, the idea of like a function within a function within a function itself, is actually very interesting. And for example, fractals in mathematics are based on this idea, the idea of recursion, So there's a lot that can happen and can grow in your brain if you start going down, and you start learning in the low level of things. And that will lead to giving you different tools and different perspectives on how to approach problems. And that's what I believe computational thinking is about.
Yes, I think that makes sense actually.
So I would like. Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Please.
Go on.
No, I just want to add something. I read a book about by John Maeda, How to Speak to the Machine. And it say there that when you add to the creativity, you learn to code and you learn computational, you add computational skills. In the creativity world, you achieve magic. So this is something that is very nice when you start to feel it.
Yes, yes, yes. I think I should try and integrate this more with design and sort of try and learning as many tools as I can at this point. So
to a certain point. Don't get too fast, because otherwise you're going to go down the rabbit hole. There's like a million different tools, a million different programming languages, and at some point you got to stop and say, like, okay, I've learned enough. Let me practice a little bit, And
yes.
That's my word of caution. I don't like preaching about tools, but a certain degree of technical expertise is very healthy. But an obsession with technical expertise is definitely not healthy at all.
Yes. I will remember this. Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Anytime.
Sure.
I want to give also Kaushik the opportunity to introduce himself, if he will.
Yeah. Hello, guys. My name is Kaushik. I'm from Chennai, India, South India, to be specific. Nice to be here. And I would like to add another point to the. So I would like to add another point to the question posed by Pratham. So I was introduced to Grasshopper and the whole world parametric or computational design when I was in my first year of college, bachelor's first year. So I was just looking at my senior, he was just changing some sliders, and suddenly the bridge was expanding, something was happening. I found it very interesting. And so prior to that, while in my school days, I was already exposed to programming. Like I used to program in C++, basic stuff, but I was familiar with the concept of programming. And to the question to Pratham, I think it depends on why you want to do computation, why you want to get into the field. For me, it was, frankly speaking, I found that I realized that most of the tasks which architects do in their practice is like a lot of things can be automated, like manual drawings, CAD drawings, and like just that system is a bit outdated, at least in my country, in India. So for me, I didn't like those things. I didn't study 5 years of college just to sit in front of a computer and make fancy color drawings. That isn't what I wanted to do. So as a way of, like trying to get it off my plate, I started looking at how to automate these stupid drawings. I don't want to do them anymore. And so I started with learning Grasshopper and then tried to automate stuff. And from there it went so on. And yeah, that's how I got into this field. And one of the reasons why I'm still supporting for Python is that I can. So the reason is, like, I started with RhinoScript syntax, but because it was easy and it was documented, and that was basically in Python and it just stuck. So yeah, different people have different reasons, but just wanted to clarify because I know yours is against Python.
Well, no one is perfect, Kaushik. By the way, we've talked about this a lot, but you're all aware it's a joke, right?
Yeah.
All right. I relate to your words a lot, Kaushik. I hate repetitive work. I despise it completely. And even as soon as I have to add together more than 4 numbers, then I make a spreadsheet right away. Like, because I cannot not sit down and do the same thing over and over again. I think in the 21st century, in 2021, none of us humans should be wasting our time to do repetitive tasks. So, and also there's something nerdy about, like, oh, how do you do this in Excel spreadsheet? Like, it's like automation for trivial, stupid tasks. I'm a huge fan of that.
Yeah, actually, like on that, about like automation of stupid tasks, there was one thing that I was doing, and basically what we needed to do was to have a computer use the webcam and like take a lot of pictures every, say, 1 second. And so basically what I did was to download a code library, I guess called Simulating Keyboard or something like that, that would allow you to like simulate mouse clicks. And I just set a for loop with a timer and sleep for 1 second every time. And like, I would just say, click this mouse every second. And basically the computer was doing the stupid task while we were like talking with friends and having a good time, which is like the whole idea of all of these automations.
I think computers are better at automation than humans. Humans are more better at creativity, like creating new things or connecting different things to solve a problem maybe. And it doesn't make sense for you to do something that computer can be 1,000,000 times faster and less error prone.
And also,
Sure.
I would like to add to that implementing automation with computers is also extremely easy. What is very difficult is developing creativity with computers, or in other words, for example, translating things that when you're designing a concept like beauty, or a concept like happiness, or a concept like mood, or like things that are not quantitative, things that are qualitative. That's what's actually very difficult to represent computationally, and that's where the mismatch or the difficulty between like a design idea and its computational implementation, that's where the difficulty very often lies in. So that's a lot of the work that I do with my students, for example, here at the university. Like, how do we go from soft, intangible ideas to the world of computation, you know? And that's not something that is easy to automate at all. Ahmed, I would like to welcome you to the call as well. I saw you before. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. Thank you, Jose Luis. Well, yes, I'm an architect, and I'm currently based in Lausanne, in Switzerland, where I work at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology as a researcher.
Oh.
And actually, I'm indebted to you, Jose Luis, because your course on C# was very helpful for me. And it really helped me like develop my own skills doing it. And currently I'm developing some plugins in C#, like for a CAD CAM software we're using. And yeah, your C# course was definitely like something that helped me get initiated in C#. Well, actually I had to look for extra resources, but yeah, the base you gave at the course, I think it was more than enough.
All right. I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah, and that's basically it about myself. I'm an architect, and I did a master's in France, which was on digital design in architecture. So yeah, that's basically who I am.
Who do you work with at the Epfl?
Do you know Professor Cash?
Bernard Cash?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. His readings are amazing.
Yeah, I'm working in his lab.
Yeah. Well, if I were asked to mention Antoine Picon and Mario Carpo, I would also add Bernard Cash to that list of readings. What was the one book that was
Earth Moves?
Earth Moves, exactly. Mm-hmm. Very nice.
1995, yes.
1995, exactly. And Frédéric Mingalou, I would add to the list as well. Also from the same school of thought, maybe similar. Mm-hmm. Also, nice to meet you, Ahmed.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
And Lara, good to see you again. How are you doing?
Hi everyone. I'm good, thank you. I'm Lara. I'm from Germany. I'm a design student. No, I'm finished recently. That's why I still say I'm a design student. But now I work as a researcher at my university. mostly for material design. And I'm always trying to mix these both things, material design and computational design. And at the moment, I work with a robot. And thank you, Arasto, for your help in the chat of Discord. I think Victor is not here at the moment, but I guess both of you, of your inputs will help me next week to achieve my goals.
You're still working with the force sensor of the UR?
Yes. But last week I haven't had the chance to do much on this because we had this final presentation for our current state of the project. And so I had just a lot of work with the presentation, fixing that. And also we did some funny Christmas special with the robot. I will be happy to show you later if you like to. It's just a little thing, but yeah, that was kind of distracting me from my real task.
I'm all in support for computational projects for Christmas. If you have seen the Christmas tree we did together, but share some of that work with on the Discord or here or whatever. That would be fun to see. What was your university?
It was the University of Art and Design in Offenbach.
Offenbach.
Yeah.
All right. That sounds pretty cool.
It's a very small university, and how can I say, we can do everything and nothing. It's very we have a lot of opportunities, but only if we do it on our own. So sometimes it's very good to have somebody like you, José Luis, for learning more with parametric design. And yeah.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. Do you have classes? Do you have courses where you can indulge in computation at Offenbach University?
From time to time, but honestly, it's really, I love it how you call it vanilla grasshopper, and it's very more like dictating. The teacher does something and we just copy it. And what I really didn't like during my studies at that university was that there was never a talk about the data structure or how the data flows inside of Grasshopper. And I think that's the most important part, to do just some fancy shapes with box cage and something like this. I mean, it looks nice, but if you don't understand the logic behind this, it's useless actually, because you can only do the same thing over and over again with it and never achieve your own visions. So that was maybe something I would like to tell Pratham for. What really helped me to stuck with parametric design was that I didn't only use this thinking with the computer. Every time I approach a project, I try to figure out the logic behind my concept, and I always keep this word logic very big in mind, and try to figure out which are the parameters of my project. And that's, I think, a little bit what you call computational thinking, I guess. Also, the book Andres mentioned, How to Talk with Machines. It's a great one. You should also put that on your list. It's really cool.
Sure. Thank you, Lara. Thank you.
Very welcome.
What book is that? I don't know that book. How to Talk to Machines?
I can show you. This one?
From John Maeda. Yeah, How to Speak Machine.
How to Speak to Machine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I said it wrong, right? I'm not good with titles.
Yeah. John Maeda's books. I don't know if you guys can ask, if you have, but here in the US, we have used books with Amazon, and it works really well. You can get really nice books like those for like $5, like secondhand, almost new. You don't have to print new paper. It's great, actually. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's something called Medi-Mobs, and I'm not sure if this is just a German thing or a European thing. I have no idea. But it's also very nice to exchange.
Yeah. On the topic of teaching, this is probably an open question that I want to throw anyone. I'm an educator by profession. That's my main job. And I'm always curious about and excited about learning new things about how to teach better and how to create better educational experiences. Do you have any ideas of educational experiences? So classes you've taken, workshops you've taken, even YouTube channels you've seen, whatever. Educational experiences, any ideas of things that for you are big no-nos, like things that have never worked for you and that you hate when you're exposed to those techniques, and vice versa, like big yeses. So some technique, some method, something that you received during a workshop, during a seminar, whatever, and you were like, oh, I like that way of teaching, or I like that exercise, or that kind of something that happened. As you were saying before, Lara, like, oh, the way this class was taught is that the professor does something and we copy. You know, that's a method. That's an educational method. And for some people that works, for some people it doesn't. For you, it doesn't work, you know? So any ideas of like big yes and big no-nos that you have experienced in the past?
Shall I reply directly?
Yeah, of course.
I took a class with Raja Issa from Rhino.
Oh, Raja, I love her.
She's really amazing. She's the opposite of this what I described before. She teased the common or the following process we were going to learn in Grasshopper, but then she didn't went to Grasshopper directly. She drew on the whiteboard the logics and explained how this worked very well. And after that, we went to Grasshopper and had little exercises and would do them really during the course, and then presented her the exercise, and then she told us, okay, here you could have been a little bit clearer or a little bit directer. You couldn't have, you should have maybe used some components less and it would be easier and stuff like this. This was really a very great class.
Awesome.
So she went back and forth with the whiteboard and the real Grasshopper.
So conceptual explanation and then small exercises to practice. Mm-hmm. All right.
Actually, one thing that I saw with Jose's teaching at GST, I before saying that, I actually took I watched the whole introduction to computational design from Harvard GST on YouTube at the time that it was actually available. One thing that I noticed that you were doing there was, again, actually explaining what is the actual underlying logic behind all of these geometries. I mean, instead of saying, okay, so this is how you make a mesh, you would actually explain what is a mesh, what constitutes a mesh, and where it came from. Also, with Bezier curves, and a lot of explanations about vectors and how they work. And that would actually gave this is I guess about 1.5 years ago or so. That gave me a very deep understanding of how these geometries work within the computer. So I would be able to understand, when am I going to use which part? When am I going to be using which kind of geometry? And if I want to have my geometries lighter, how can I approach them? Or how can I do something that will make things easier for me? And that explanations of the underlying logic of all of those things actually works really well, I'd say.
Happy to hear that. I have found that that's also very helpful when people move out of Grasshopper into other worlds, and you start doing Unity, and you have this object called a transform, and what is that? No, it's just 3 vectors like this, you know. You can rotate. Okay, you know, that moment of oh, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, if you know me already, I'm very pro low level, you know. So if we're gonna learn, let's go as deep as we can to the underlying logics, and then all the tools and whatever, those are going to change, but the underlying principles of geometry will probably not, you know?
Yeah, actually, to be honest, like up to this point, still I am making planes out of cross products. So I have like get like two vectors and I get the cross product to like rotate stuff around, which is really good, which is amazing, and basically is working almost for everything that I want to do.
Awesome. Any other ideas, thoughts?
If I may add something.
Yes, whoever, Ahmed, for example.
Yeah. It's well, it's not about teaching itself, but rather in like assessing at the end of a class. In my master's, one of the professors used to do it was to use Kahoot, which is a tool that helps you like do a quick quiz, and everyone joins from their cell phone, and using an app, and then it's like a quick competition. It's funny. We have points according like to each one, how quick and how accurate was the response. So, and at the end, someone wins, is the winner, and it's fun because it engages everyone in the classroom in participating and seeing. And then at the end, well, the professor didn't like use these points like to assess or to give grades, but it was like funny in front of the class to see who was the quickest to get the best answers, and it helped all of us like review all what we saw in the day's session, and it was a good way to summarize. Yeah.
Interesting. I had never heard of Kahoot. Actually, I'm checking it out, and it looks pretty exciting, actually. I have a similar thing in my intro to computational design class. We have an intro. We have a website for managing the class, etc., and have some quizzes which are like review questions of the lectures, like the more high-level lectures, like vectors, planes, geometry, and all that stuff. But it is true that it's a little more boring because it's just like this quiz that it's online, and it feels like it's not graded. I don't use that for grading, but it feels like a tiny exam of sorts, you know. But if it's gamified and there's something exciting about it, that's definitely a plus. Mm-hmm. Thanks for the tip. Andres, you were going to say something? Did I interrupt you?
Yes, thank you. No, I am agree with Arasto. I really enjoyed your lectures at Harvard. And I just want to add before we meet you, I really enjoyed the channel by Daniel Schiffman. I think that was the guy who I say, wow, this is what I want to learn. And I opened my mind, and then little by little I'm moving with C#. But yes, maybe for people who haven't heard or haven't used to take a look of Daniel Schiffman's books and channels.
I literally want to be like Dan when I grow up. That's my aspiration. Yeah. I want to give Pablo and Rolando the opportunity also to say hi and introduce themselves as they join the call a little later.
Maybe I can introduce myself first. I'm Pablo. I'm from Colombia. I started in this parametric stuff, not actually in geometry, like my background is in architecture, but I got interested more in sustainability. So I got very early on into this Ladybug tools and Honeybee, also like parametric stuff. So I have been working with Grasshopper for the past, mostly into building physics, but I also quite enjoy like learning about new plugins, and also like your courses, also the Harvard ESD are like amazing. And I just finished like the the webhooks and like the C# ones, like quite amazing. Yeah, it's an honor to be here like in this chat. Thank you so much. Great content.
Thank you. I'm happy you enjoy it. You know, Andres is also calling in from Colombia.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
really?
from Medellin. Where are you from?
I'm from Medellin.
Ah, me too.
Yeah, really? Yeah. But right now I'm in London. I'm working like in a sustainability company, but yeah, quite amazing.
And Rolando, would you like to say hi?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi. Well, first of all, hi everybody. My name is Rolando. I'm from Bolivia. I live here in the U.S. in Tampa, Florida. I am a structural engineer. I work for Thornton Tomasetti.
Oh,
So funny thing that I started getting interested about parametric modeling and Grasshopper and all those things when I started working in Thornton Tomasetti. We call it TT because it's too long.
you have the core group, no?
Yeah, exactly. So when we have something crazy, we just call them and they do the, all the fancy stuff for us. But once I had the opportunity to work with them, and it's like, oh, this is really cool. I need to learn this. So that's how I started, like, learning Grasshopper. And then I don't remember how I ended up in your channel, but I mean, I love it. Now I'm like learning C#. I'm doing a small plugin for Grasshopper that will interact with CSI Safe, these programs that you use to structural analysis, like ETAP, Safe, things like that. So I'm playing with that. So thanks for all the content that you provide. It's amazing, Jose Luis.
Nice. I'm very happy. I'm very happy you like it. Funny story. I used to be a structural engineer. Like
That's cool.
I finished architecture school and I worked as a structural engineer for 3 or 4 years. And then I was like, what am I doing with my life? Blah, 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 whatever. And then I discovered computation and I was like, whoa. And then I gave up structural engineering. So be careful.
Okay, I'll follow your advice.
The dark side may grow on you,
It's a good point.
No, I'm very happy with my dark sides now. So
I mean, it's tempting. I like it. It's like sometimes it's like, oh, I like that.
yeah, no, and especially if you're working for TT, like making the jump to core and working with them, it's like core is doing a lot of really interesting work. It's a very good place to learn and to do stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I also see Nono just joined the call.
Hello. I couldn't join.
Would you like to say hi and introduce yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, hello. I mean, what can I say? You might hear some background because I'm not in my studio or anything, but just wanted to say hi, just wanted to pass by. And, Jose Luis is also a great inspiration, as is Daniel Schiffman, for making of this. And I'll just, take a chance to congratulate you for your persistence, and also tell everyone, in case you don't know, that what Arasto said before, right? Like those classes from the GSD, I think there is a lot of work behind each of those lectures, right? It takes a bunch of work for you, and I've never been able to spend so much time to prepare classes. So that's something that people also need to know, the amount of work that is behind. And yeah, I'm looking forward to catching up on many of your tutorials on Grasshopper, because I feel I'm getting behind. So yeah.
You haven't done Grasshopper in a while, huh?
Yes, yeah, I feel it's getting rusty. So yeah, hi everyone, and I'm glad to be part of this.
Awesome. Thank you for joining.
Community.
And I guess I'll see you in a couple of days, right? Is that true?
Yes, I think 2 days or 3. So Jose Luis is gonna be here in Malaga, in my hometown. So maybe we can do something together. We did something remotely last time, which worked pretty well. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, like I used to live really close by Jose Luis in Cambridge. I'm back in Spain now, and I
literally
also
very close.
1 minute walk. And I've got pretty crazy lately with preparing my live streaming setup and stuff. So hopefully soon I'll do a share out. I expect to show Jose Luis soon. It gets out of hand really quickly with like lights and mics and things, but yeah.
But is that done? Are you finally moved?
It's done. Yeah. My last 2 or 3 live streams and the last podcast I recorded are from the new studio, which it's weird. I call it studio. You know, it's the first time I have a dedicated space to record and live stream and thing. And it feels great. Like I just have to plug the computer, almost have to only plug the computer and hit record. Like before I was doing it on the living room, and it was, you know, you have to move the table, put the chroma, switch on stuff, and highly recommend it. And the investment at the end of the day is you need to have a space, but monetarily it wasn't a huge investment. So, but yeah.
I'm also very happy. Yeah, I'm also very happy with the setup. That it's just like I roll my screen and we're good to go. Yeah, I have to say though, the microphone you bought me, it's been flickering. There was a live stream. There was a live stream where it just stopped working half through the live stream, and I had to switch to my other, and I don't know what's going on with it. And I threw away the box and stuff. I'm not sure I can. So I have to have a tech session with the microphone. Something is not going well.
Yeah.
Well,
audio is hard.
Technology. Yeah. But thank you for your words. I have to say I'm kind of disappointed because I set myself the goal of hitting 100 live streams before the end of the year. And I'm gonna reach 2022 with 92, which it was close, but not really. Not so. We can work a little harder yet.
Yeah, you still have time to do like maybe 8-10 minute live streams or something. Cheating.
Yeah, that sounds like I would feel very. That's cheating, man. That's not cool.
I know. Anyhow, I'm really happy to see you all. I'll catch you up in the chat and we'll see the remaining.
All right. Thank you for joining. See you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. All right, that was nice.
Hey, may I like drop something to talk about right there? So, one thing that I have been like to continue about like the topic we were talking about, like architecture and like computational design and thinking about it. So one thing that I have been like thinking about lately was how do you make sense of how you should actually like design architecture? Like, is there like it's really hard? It's really hard to explain. So, so like, for example, when we are talking about like architectural design, you can look at I don't know, like Zaha Hadid or Patrick Schumacher's work, or you could also like take a look at what Shigeru Ban is doing. So there's like really different ways of thinking about design, and I was wondering if you have any thoughts on that and how you could like make sense of this, and how can we call all of it architecture, and what should we like if that makes sense.
I'm not entirely sure what you mean.
What I mean is when you get into too much programming, like lately
too much what?
Like lately, what I've been feeling was when I'm like doing everything that I'm doing is like programming and like playing with robots and trying to figure out how I can like build something out of it. It seems like it's a little bit too far from what I can define as architectural design. It's more like it's getting into a completely new realm. And I was wondering how you could make sense of that, in other words. So how can I call writing a for loop in a computer architectural design? It's not space. I mean, it's just tools. Am I becoming like an engineer here?
Oh,
funny you asked that. Because isn't it I mean, what is your goal? Why do you play with robots? Why do you program for achieving shapes? I mean, you build something somehow. Maybe it is not particular a building or something, but I guess design or architecture, these are very open words. And especially right now, I feel I mean, I'm not from the architectural background, but product design, industrial design, and material design, and all this, I so often get this question: is it really design what you're doing when you're like programming or something? But with these tools, as you mentioned, those are just tools for my design. So why shouldn't it be design just because it's programming within? My goal is to design something, and I think I would not doubt it just based on the tools I use to achieve what I'm thinking of to get somehow.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
And also I don't know if to call this I don't think imposter syndrome is the right, some kind of tagging of yourself, labeling of yourself situation here. So the fact that you are typing code in a computer makes you think that you're closer to computer science and not to design. If you have those thoughts, there's many extrapolations that I could do very similar. Like, for example, if I am drawing with a pencil on a paper, am I doing architecture or am I just drawing, you know? Or if I am designing, like Rolando's work might look like, if I'm designing like sticks and plates on top, am I a structural engineer or am I designing architecture? Or
yeah, it is really hard to say.
No, because it's like, it's whether if you're willing to accept canonical stereotypes that are based on tool use rather than on goals.
Yeah.
Are you writing for loops to optimize the performance of a database, or are you writing for loops because you want to end up with a physical object that may be part of a building at some point?
Well, it is the latter. So
do I refer to people as painters or sculptors based on the tools that they use? I refer to them based on the things that they produce. And even that difference between a painter and a sculptor these days sometimes is kind of blurry too. So I don't know. Would you call Cedric Price an architect? He didn't really build a lot of stuff. And most of what he built, we don't have it around anymore because he designed his buildings or his structures to be transient and impermanent and transitory and dismantleable, you know. So but Mr. Fuller, was it Bucky? But that's a good example. Was he an architect? Bucky? He wrote a book on the ecology of the planet Earth, you know. Is he an architect?
Probably you can say he was an architect. Yeah, of course.
But why? Because he doesn't have where are his buildings? You know?
Maybe we can allude to something that you just mentioned, that it is more like the final goal. The final intent of what you want to do is to create something like a space, create something, let's say, called shelter, or an installation, or something that would take shape in a physical world that is going to inhabit people. So whatever you do in that direction makes you an architect. Gives you the, let's say, gives you the reason to call yourself an architect.
right, how about Turrell? Is he an architect? The artist that does this like light, that creates these spaces with light in the middle of the desert, But he calls himself an artist, and he exhibits in galleries and blah, 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 and you can't hire him to design a light space for you. Is he an architect?
Oh, would you say he's an architect?
I would say he is an architect. Like, he's a huge architect, much better than many that I know. Yeah, because he creates this amazing, I'm going to paste his name on the chat, James Turrell. He creates these architectural experiences with light that are amazing. But if you Google him, he's an artist, Would you call Olafur Eliasson? What's his name? Olafur Eliasson. Would you call him an architect?
I think we have to start with the question, what architecture is today?
I like the question better. Or
yeah, what makes someone an architect?
I don't think architecture is anything. I think for me, architecture is something or something or something. Or just like art, for me, this is a piece of art and this is not, and someone is an artist or not. It's a matter of perception, in my opinion,
So you're saying that the definition of architecture is a subjective one?
Oh, yeah. Okay, if it's not, then there should be a quantifiable metric that defines what architecture is and what isn't, right? Is there such a thing?
Maybe I can't say, because let's say we would say like a physical space that would inhabit people. That could be like a way of defining it. However, we are seeing
let's stop there, if you will. So from there, perhaps we could bring in the quantifiable metrics of, is this physical? So is there physical material as part of this thing? Yes or no? That could be one thing. Is this able to provide shelter? So when it's raining, can I stay dry inside? Or when it's cold outside, can I stay warm inside? That could be another quantifiable metric. Maybe.
Yes.
What about when you throw virtual reality in, and then people are
exactly,
and design things for, you don't even have to consider weather or any kind of environment. Is completely customizable. So I think it's very speculative to label it as one thing.
To me, I would define architecture as anything that is able to provide a spatial experience. That's it, period. Whether if it's digital or physical, whether if it's built or not, whether if it's sold as something that provides shelter or an art installation. Both could be, for me, equally architectural. For me, architectural involves the concept of spatiality and three-dimensionality. Architecture is the art of immersing humans in some kind of three-dimensional spatial experience, and the experiential step themselves. It's the experiential step itself. So the fact that somehow, intangibly, spiritually, if you will, you are a different person, or before the experience and after the experience, in whichever way. Something about your spiritual qualities have changed after that. It can be a huge change, it can be a tiny thing, but there's something that, as part of that experience, has changed your perception of the world.
So can I ask something? So do you consider game design as a part of architectural design as well?
Oh, absolutely.
So-
And there's actually, I actually read very, very recently that world designers, so people who specialize in the design of three-dimensional environments or virtual worlds for video games, are actually the most sought out profession within the video game industry. There's literally so few people in the world who can do it that they're extremely demanded and super expensive, because there's only 3 programs in the world that teach you how to create video, how to create virtual worlds for video games. It's a huge problem in the industry, apparently. There aren't that such people. I'm not sure if I could call them architects. I'm sure they wouldn't call themselves architects, but I do believe that people who work in that field, they provide architectural experiences. I've had very, very interesting. Have you played Journey? Have you played Minecraft? Have you played Monument Valley? I've had very interesting spatial experiences playing those video games, you know?
Yeah.
That I cherish.
Actually, like one of the video games that I have played was a video game called Remember Me from, I don't remember, from like 2011 or something like that. So it was something like a futuristic way of thinking about like Paris, and like the architecture of this game was actually the thing that I was most interested, not the story, or more like Assassin's Creed Unity. Like the majority of the people that I know who have played the game, they have played the game to explore like the architecture of the city, not for the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
GTA, of course.
You know, absolutely, yeah. Tomb Raider used to be really good at that. The modern Prince of Persia was very good at that too. So back to for loops. I think you can create architectural experiences with for loops. I believe so, and that's kind of what I try to teach people. But that's my personal opinion. And I do understand how, from industry and from classical architectural perspectives, there's a little bit of resistance to that idea. But, oh well, more for us, because more space for innovation, you know? All right, I see a couple of people are sharing animations, Christmas animations on Discord. If I may, I would like to take 5 minutes to run those by the tree, because I'm actually kind of excited about the tree. And so I'm going to try to do that. So let me switch to this view, and let me switch to sharing this window here. I don't know if you can still see me.
Yes, we can.
All right, can you see? I'm sharing my screen, and you can see me in the tiny corner. You can see the. All right, good.
Yes.
Okay. So where's my actual? Okay, here. All right. So, well, I don't know if you're familiar with where is the Christmas? The Christmas tree is right here. This is my living room right now. I have a webcam in my living room, and it's really bright because the sun is going to hit very soon. So it's not great, but I don't know if you can see there's a tiny table at the center with a couple of plants. So on that table, right, where is my cursor? Can you see my cursor? You cannot see my cursor. On that table, there is a tiny computer, a Raspberry Pi, that is connected to the lights. And that is the computer that has all the, it's actually Python code, but I do not want to admit that. No, I never said that. Let's say the code that runs the files on the tree. So what I'm going to do now is, because I'm in a different room, I'm going to connect to log into the Raspberry Pi through its IP. Are you folks familiar with SSHing? SSH? SSH is a command line tool that allows you to connect remotely to other computers in your local network, in your server, in a server, etc. And I can see that it's not working. I wonder if the Raspberry Pi is off. Oh yeah, because I got the wrong. So I'm typing in I got the wrong IP. So I'm typing in, what? Okay, all right. So I entered the password. So I'm logged into the Raspberry Pi right now. So I am right now inside of the Raspberry Pi from my regular computer. So what I can do is I can log into the desktop, and I can see that the desktop has it has a text file, and it has 2 folders called Christmas tree. So I'm going to enter the Christmas tree one, and I think this is the one that has all the sequences. So you can see that there's a bunch of Python scripts. I'm going to say scripts from now on. Okay, there's a bunch of scripts that I can use to do different things on the tree. So for example, I'm going to use sudo so that I have elevated privileges to run a script compiler that can execute different scripts. So for example, what I can do is, the simplest one is that I can turn on individual lights. So for example, let's say that I want to turn, there's 500 lights, right? So I can turn on the first one, the 100, the 200, the 300, the 400, and the 500, the very last one, right? And they're going to turn on one at a time. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I don't know if you saw that. It's just way too bright. What I can do as well is I can turn them all. So I turn them all off. So I can flush them, and then they will all turn off. I forget, there was an all on. Oh yeah, and this was like a very nice, they all turn on one at a time with like a tiny delay one after the other. So it's like in a way, it's an animation that just turns them on one after the other, you know? So I'm going to turn them off. And then if you have followed some of the previous videos, you know that we worked on this Grasshopper script that was able to generate sequences by exporting the animation of all those LED lights as CSV files, as comma-separated values, right? So, for example, if I enter sequence selected and I look at the folders, you can see that here I have a bunch of CSV files. Each one of those contains all the colors, all the RGB colors for all the LED lights on a frame-by-frame basis, correct? So those are the ones that we did in the stream, but I see that Victor and Andres, Victor, are you still here? Oh yeah, yes, you're here. So I see that Victor and Andres have shared 2 CSV files that they've probably made. Can you say something about, Andres, can you say something about your...
Well, to be honest, I just played with the random colors. You will see.
All right, that's fine. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is, yours is called ParametricCamp Merry Christmas from Andres, right? So what I'm going to do is that from my machine, I'm going to upload your file to the Raspberry Pi. I'm going to do that with SCP and then ParametricCamp, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm going to upload that to the Pi 192.168.0.200. And then I wonder, one home Pi desktop. And then Andres.csv. I always forget how to use these commands, so it might just not work. Did it work? I can't believe it worked at the first time. So I'm going to, and I have Andres, yes, look. So your file is here right now. Okay, so I'm going to move your file to Christmas tree. And then Christmas. Sorry, I haven't had enough coffee today. So you are here, okay? So what I can do now is I can say, for example, I can say sudo python 3. I'm going to run a particular sequence, and that's going to be Andres CSV. And if I do that, it should, okay, yes. So Andres, I'm going to go back to my desktop. Desktop, yes, I'm going to go back to my. If I do, let me show you something. Can you send me a, so we have your file here. Well, I don't know what your file is. Yes, you have your file here. Your file has the 500 LED lights, okay? And it has all the numbers. But if we open it, this was a mistake that I did in the, on the live stream. So if we actually open your file with the text editor and we scroll all the way to the right, you can see that, for example, line 2, you got all the numbers, but you can you see that at the end of line 2, there's a comma?
Oh, yeah.
And there's no line afterwards. That's a mistake that I made in the code, because the for loop, when the for loop was checking for all the values, and it checked whether if you were in the last LED and whether if to add a new comma or not, I wrote the line, I wrote that wrong. So if you go to your Grasshopper file,
yeah,
and let me see. If you go to, where is this? It was algorithmic modeling, Christmas tree, Grasshopper scripts. So for example, let's say we have opened this. Let's say we open this and we open Grasshopper. And you say, for example, the Christmas tree sequences. Here, where you're creating the sequence, I believe the mistake was that here, when you decide whether if you need to add a comma or not, is my head on the way? Yeah. Here in the code on the video, I had if I is different than LED count. But I believe it should be LED count -1. So that if you are at the last LED, then you do not add that comma. Okay, is that correct?
Yeah, but I think I have this line. When I say if it's not lead count -1, row +1, and I the comma. I shared the file, the Grasshopper file in Discord.
Okay, so let me take a look at that. Where are you? Where is this? Okay. All right. All right. So, which one is it?
It's the last one that is in blue.
This one?
The one that is in a group in blue.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so here, you see, here you have if I is different than LED count, and this should be LED count -1.
Okay.
because otherwise I is always going to be less than LED count because of the for loop. So it's never going to really hit LED count. You want to know if it's LED count -1 because that's the last element, and therefore you don't want to add the comma. So would you like to fix that and send it my way? Because I have to fix all these paths to create your file.
Yeah, don't worry. I will try to do it.
Yeah, so just go here and just add -1 here at the end. All right, and I see that Victor has also fixed that himself. That was my bad, sorry. Sloppy professor. All righty. I am going to download Victor's sequence. Okay. And I'm going to try running it. So same thing. I'm going to first upload SCP. I'm going to upload SCP. I'm going to upload its bang.csv, and I'm going to call this before. And I'm going to upload it already to Christmas tree. All right, and Raspberry. I'm going to switch to this. Okay. All right, so we got this, and when I see Andres has already fixed that. Okay. Yep. So I'm going to try upload yours again. Christmas tree. This, and then that's Raspberry Pi. All right. Okay, so now we're here, and if I do this, I shall see Andres's file, and I shall see Victor's file. All right, so let's see if we are ready for this now. Let's try running the file by Andres. And 3, 2, 1. What happened here? Same problem?
Really?
Maybe I didn't upload the file correctly. Let's try, let me try another thing. Andres 2. Okay. And then there's Andres 2. Yeah, we have the same. Oh, wait. Let's try with Victor's. Victor. Are you having the same problem, Victor? No, this is going to work. Whoa! Whoa, Victor, this is a lot. What? I want to see this in the real world. Hold on, I'll be right back. Let me go check this out. All right. Good job, Victor. It's very impressive. There's like a lot of colors going on everywhere, and it's very, very fast. I think if you send me like a chill version of this, like let's say like at 1/4 of the speed, I may actually use it because otherwise I don't want to be in the living room. I feel like I want to start drinking and dancing with such a speed. But if you send me like a 1/4 of the time, I will definitely include it in my personal selection of scenes. Andres, I want to help you. I want to help you fix this out. Let's have you been able to, let me take a look at what's going on here. So I'm going to, Victor, how do you feel? Is this what you expected? I can't see the chat. RGB explained on a Christmas tree. Yeah. Sudo sun off. What is this, sun off? Turn the sun off. All right. Okay, and Rhino is not working now. This is not good news. Uh-oh. Okay, so responding, let me start again. So, okay. 1/4 of the speed. All right, we're going to try that, Victor. Okay, so Andres, you were on my desktop, and you were Christmas tree. Okay.
Yes.
And you were okay. So let's check. So we have this is LED count -1, so that's good. Theta frames, blah blah blah, and this is going to be LED count -1.
This is what I add.
So let me just find somewhere to save this on my desktop. And I'm going to call this, oh boy. So that should probably be what? Users, TLS, desktop. Okay. That's going to be, then this is going to be Andres fixed.csv. Let's see if this works. So we're going to save that, and then I'm going to check the file. So we're going to open the file, and this is going to be Andres fixed. Oh, and it's not working. Do you need any geometry? You need the coordinates of the tree. Oh boy. All right, I can find those in my system. Hold on. PCamp, GitHub, bunch development, algorithmic modeling, so Christmas tree. So the tree coordinates, I'm going to dump them on the desktop, and then I'm going to have them here. File path, new, select one existing file. So that's going to be PCamp tree coordinates. And that is working here. And then we got this. So now this should be fixed. And we have that the last line here doesn't have a comma. This one doesn't have a comma. This one doesn't have a comma. This one doesn't. So it should look good.
Is your screen frozen?
What? Am I not?
I don't know if it's me.
No, for me it's the same. Only the little window of Jose Luis on the side is still working, but the big screen is frozen.
Really? Let me just, no, because for some reason this thing stopped sharing. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Now it's working.
Yeah, Zoom stopped sharing for some reason. So let me try to. Okay, so I'm going to upload Andres fixed to Andres 3.
So now the file looks nice.
I think it does, but let's see let's see, let me switch to, okay, so now we have LSLA, and we have Andres 3, so I'm going to sudo Python 3 run, not Python 4, we don't have that yet. Python 3 and Andres 3. And then, boom! Oh! Something, I'm going to go check it out in person. Hold on, I'll be right back. Nice. I see green LED lights and blue LED lights, and very shiny, very flickery. I'm going to say, just like with Victor, I'm not sure I would like to have that in my living room when I'm having a drink. Or like a chip, but if you were to able to like calm it down, like super chill, maybe I could consider it. But it's really cool. Good job, Andres.
Thank you.
Let me try with the updated version that that Victor shared. So that would be bang. Oh, I didn't download it. Okay, so we're gonna try Victor's. And then, there you go. Okay. So bang, slow, and then it's going to be Victor slow. And we're going to try to load it. It's going to be Victor slow. Oh, all right. I'm going to check it out. Hold on. All right, Victor, much better. I like it much better now. Something you may want to try too is I see that the lights have a color and then they turn immediately into a different color. You may want to play with gradients. You may want to play like, instead of we are bright red, instead of being bright red and turning immediately to bright green, kind of transitioning, blending into the colors, that I have found that to be very effective, especially with Christmas trees. I don't know, it just looks much nicer. And I'm going to stop this. And I'm going to stop it right there. All right, there it goes. I'm gonna leave it like that today. All righty, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to go back to, no, not here, here. Exactly. And RGB bang. Oh, that's the Grasshopper file. Beautiful. All right, that was fun. Thanks a lot, Andres, and thanks a lot, Victor. That was a lot of fun. And all right, have we been hanging out for an hour and a half already? Oh, okay. Well, if anyone has any other comments, ideas, suggestions, things they want to share, or otherwise, we can probably call it a day and then move on to holiday festivities. I have to pack before I move to Europe. for the holidays. All right, well, if that's the case, then it was a pleasure to hang out with all of you as usual. I'm very happy to be part of this community, and I'm very happy to welcome you to this community as well. I hope to see you around on Discord, on the live stream. Who knows, maybe crazy idea in the physical world, maybe at some point in some combination of space-time. That would be awesome. And in the meantime, yes.
One thing, when do you think it's going to be the next live stream?
Yes, I believe it will be the week of January, after January 10th, the week after that, because I'm going to be taking 2 weeks of vacation, and I will be back. I will be back like beginning mid-January. And I also have to prepare a new course this semester for the university. So that's going to take up a lot of work. But at the same time, because I have to prepare a new class, maybe I use some of the material or this channel to create some material for that class that can also benefit the rest of the community. We're going to be doing a lot of image processing, shaders, voxels, like all that cool stuff in the next class. So we may do some of that in the channel. And we also have to finish the advanced development in Grasshopper. We have to get to Remo Sharp. We have to get to actual making Grasshopper plugins. We haven't touched that yet, but it's the next thing on the playlist, you know. And I really want to do Git at some point, like a small playlist of like Git, GitHub, version control, and all that stuff. So that has a lot of preference. And also this, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this, but my nephew, 8-year-old nephew, he just got very excited about Scratch. You guys know the visual programming language with the blocks, etc. He has been doing video games with Scratch, and he always complains how boring my live streams are.
Really?
He doesn't understand anything. So I'm kind of tempted to like try to make like a small Scratch series to help him and maybe other people, you know. So that might be, we may take a small detour at some point and do more like computation for kids, perhaps. I'm thinking about that. I don't know what will happen.
If I say something, so as you mentioned, Remo Sharp. So Remo Sharp is the plugin that I actually have developed for Grasshopper, and you can actually download it from Food for Rhino right now. Probably in the next 1 or 2 weeks, I'm gonna be doing a major update on it. So at the moment, one thing that we can do with Remo Sharp is to script stuff remotely and have our geometry be basically like shared through the network. And if anyone is interested in taking a look at it, I already have uploaded a couple of example files for it. So if you want to like give it a try. And as I said, in like the next 1 or 2 weeks, what I'm trying to do right now is to create the framework that would allow everyone to use regular Grasshopper plugins, regular Grasshopper, vanilla Grasshopper components too, for remote stuff. So basically, like, imagine having one broadcasted canvas, and you can move components remotely and like create components and then connect them together, all from your own computer. So, yep, it's gonna take a lot of work, and I am really excited about it. And if anyone is interested in giving it a try, I would really appreciate it if you could like download it, give me some suggestions, because it's really early work.
Awesome. I'm really excited. Now, I think Remo Sharp is either the next video or the second to next video on the playlist. If you think that's too early, I'm happy to jump and record that video farther down the road whenever you're ready, because when I record the video, I would like to be able to make a reference to, I'm just going to do like a very thin thing, like, hey, this is what can be done, blah, blah, blah. But if you want to learn more, go to this link. And there should be something somewhere where people can now start learning more about the remote shop, whether if that's a bunch of videos on your end or your GitHub page or whatever. It's
I guess we can actually like use Remote Shop at the moment. Like right now, the latest version that I've uploaded to Rhino for Rhino is actually completely usable, but you need to like program. So basically, you need to do C# coding. And I guess that is completely fine to showcase at the moment. We can say other stuff are going to be added at a later date.
Okay. That sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, light painting, Lara?
Lara is muted.
Yes. Zeitleiste.
Yes, I already, no, I almost, sorry. Today haven't slept very well, so my English is kind of wasted. But what I talked earlier, I just wanted to show you, it's not super ready, but I thought before everybody leaves.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so cool.
Wow.
Very
so this
cool.
is our robot painting with light.
So
this is so cool.
So how do you do this? You
very basic. I just wrote the words in Rhino and transferred the path to my RoboDK, the program I'm using.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a lamp on the robot, and then he just wrote it. And the problem is with the well, I have no idea how to call it in English, but with the camera, I took a long lightning scene. I don't know how to say it.
Long exposure.
Exactly, long light exposure. And so I had to take a picture for every stroke. So it was like, yeah, I think there are better ways, but for now it's okay.
But
are you using a Canon or Nikon? What's the camera?
It was a Canon D850. I think it's from our university. We have a few.
There is a tool. That is written in Python, but basically you can use that tool to install it on a Raspberry Pi and programmatically use your Canon camera.
Okay, but for the light exposure or what?
For like long exposures or like doing multiple exposures at the same time, or like closing and opening the shutter. So give it a try. I'm gonna search for it. I don't exactly remember what exactly the name was. I'm gonna find it out. I'll send it on Discord channel.
That's cool.
It's really cool.
I also have a suggestion. So you were through the painstaking process probably of creating one single program for each one of the strokes of the letter, right?
Yeah.
And then having to like click on the camera, run the program, turn off the camera, save the photo.
I was sitting there with here, my finger on the mouse, my finger on the camera. And from time to time, because I had all the lights shut down, of course, and from time to time there came people and put on the light. I was, no, stop.
No.
And they said, why is it so dark in here? And I was there, because I'm taking long exposure photographs.
So to Kaushik's point, this is something that probably can be automated. So what I would do is, instead of a camera, you can use a webcam.
Yeah.
Right. And then what you do is you shoot continuous video of the whole thing. All right. And then you can either run the whole program, all the motion, but you'd make a program where you connect the LED that's at the tip of the robot to an Arduino or something and to the robot, so that you turn the digital input, the digital output on and off, and you can turn the LED on and off.
Yeah.
Right. And then You can also do this if you're doing this in real time. You can use Machina for processing or Machina for anything to like tell the robot to move in real time. And then if you're shooting this with processing with the webcam, for example, you can do a thing where every frame, that's actually not very difficult to write in processing. You can keep reading from the webcam. And then every new frame that comes from the webcam, what you do is you analyze all the pixels. You look at their brightness value. And then if for every pixel, the brightness value that you get from the new frame is brighter than any of the ones you have gotten before, then you keep that color for the pixel. If it's darker, you do not. And then that process is an implicit way of doing long exposure, because what you have is always this one bitmap that you keep adding more and more pixels, whichever ones become brighter as the video evolves over time, you know?
Yeah.
So with this, you can do it at one go. You don't have to automate anything, but also you get the full video. You can record the full video as the thing is happening. You don't have like the snapshots, you know, kind of situation.
So I could do different texts and something without having to spend like a week for it. That would be great. That sounds cool. But I have to admit, this was a very like spontaneous idea which we had after our final presentation, and we actually used a bike lamp just glued on the robot just to do it quick.
It's okay. The Christmas tree was also very spontaneous. Like half of the things are not working. So next year,
yeah,
we will do it again. Like, okay, now an Arduino connected to the robot, and we can turn on the LED, right? And like long exposure with processing, like, and all these things that will help you actually. They will also help you learn a lot, actually.
Absolutely. Super cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, folks, it was a pleasure. Andres, please.
No, just I want to say thank you for your teaching this semester. I missed some live streaming because I teach on Wednesdays, but I try to follow at night. So thank you very much.
But you're in almost every if anyone doesn't miss the live streams, it's definitely you. But I appreciate your words. Thank you. Beautiful. Bye. Thanks, everyone. And Nico, I may reach out to you about Dolomite's Intel at some point.
Sure, definitely.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. It was a pleasure. And see you all throughout 2022. Bye-bye.
So are we going to get a photograph or something?
Oh, yeah. Let's get a photo. Group photo. Hi. Can you say hi? Whoa. Hi. Got it. Beautiful. Thanks for the reminder. Bye-bye, everyone. It was a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great
Bye.
Christmas. Bye.